Oh, hello. This is my next example. So we're building an application with JavaFX, and here I've got a class, and it is extending application again. Now I just wanted to show you what I've got in this example. I've got a public uh, method, and it's called format GridPane. Okay, input parameter is a GridPane data type or object of my GridPane class, and the variable name is GridPane. And that is what is my input parameter, and it's going to amend. This grid pane is going to be formatted, and then that formatted grid pane is going to be my return value. And then of course in my public static void main, I've just simply got this launch args. I've put it in a try catch, which you can do or you don't have to do for now. So the main method only launches runs the launch, and the launch runs the start. Now I'm going to show you what we do in the start, because it's just a little bit more than last time. Remember, I've got my grid pane object. Okay, I call it grid pane because GP is too secretive. So I've got grid pane, new grid pane. So grid pane with capital letters, and then grid pane with a small g, and then the pane with a capital P. And now I am going to do exactly everything the same. Here I've got my scene, and I add the grid pane to the scene, and then I add the scene to the primary stage, and then I add my title to the primary stage, and then I show my stage. Okay, so here is my scene, but now I'm going to do formatting of my grid pane. I'm going to do in a new method. I've created a method, and that method will format the grid pane. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to set the color. Remember last time we had color gold here after the scene, and I add the color gold to the scene, but now I'm going to add the color gold to the grid pane, and the grid pane goes onto the scene, and the grid pane will come in its color onto the scene. So I'm just going to do all the formatting here in this format grid pane method. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to collapse all the others so that we've got space on the screen, and I'm going to show you the format grid pane. Okay, I changed the size. This is my minimum size. I can't minimize it smaller. Okay, you'll see if I look at my scene, there I've got my actual size that I really want. Okay, so I've got the size here where I create the scene, but I've also got in my grid pane, I've got a minimum size where I set the minimum size. I don't want it smaller than that, of course, if you want to do that. So I'm just giving you different methods that you can use for formatting my grid pane. Here I set padding. So in other words, for all the blocks that's going to be on my grid pane being rows and columns, each of these rows and columns, every cell in my rows and columns will have a 10 pixel inner padding inside them. Okay, and now I've got a vertical gap and I've got a horizontal gap, and the vertical gap and the horizontal gap will be spacing between the blocks vertically and horizontally. So I've got a vertical gap of 5 pixels and a horizontal gap of 5 pixels. And then now I put my whole grid, this whole table, I put it in the center horizontally in the middle of the grid pane. Okay, now I'm going to put crimson. Okay, I can make it gold. Let's make it gold, and it stays that same color. Okay, gold. And then I return this formatted grid pane. Okay, you see here I format that. I've created the grid pane. I've gone to format it. Okay. Now hang on. Yeah, I can do. It's better doing it this way, because I must say grid pane, because the returned formatted grid pane is being returned. Okay, so I say grid pane, I make my empty grid pane, I pass it into the format method, and I get it formatted back. Okay, so I must get that formatted grid pane, it must come back. And now here you see I put that formatted grid pane onto the scene, and then the scene goes to the stage. Okay, so let's run it and see what happens. Oh no, this is going to take forever. Please. Oh, there it comes. Okay, so can you see? Now I've done the formatting in a different place. So I've done the formatting in my format GridPane method, and that is what I've added to this example. So I've made this method that will format the GridPane, and I'll just quickly show you all the things again. The minimum size, padding so everything is not on top of each other, space them out horizontally and vertically, put it all in the middle, and then set the background color, and then that's what I do there. Okay, so just to minimize it again, then you can just clearly see there is my methods. Main method has got nothing in it. It just launches this. Here I make my grid pane, format it, put it on the scene, and that's it. Right.